Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of Reality Redefined. My name is Nick.
I'm Ian.
And, so if you go back and look, there's like, you're like really confused and you're like, what the hell? I thought I turned on the Life in Journal podcast. And
you were wrong.
You were wrong, damn it. So I am leaving up all like 138 episodes of Life in General. And we're just going to kind of go forward with this. So, we decided to, I don't know if you listened to the last episode of the Life in General podcast. If you haven't, maybe you should. And then go back and listen to all other 137 episodes.
Which you definitely should.
But, so we're kind of moving forward in this new kind of,
A new direction.
A new direction. That's what I guess I was trying to get to.
Mm-hmm.
So Ian and I, when did we start podcasting together? It was
January of 17.
It was January 7th, wasn't it?
17.
I think it was 1717.
Yeah.
Is when we started. And, when we started the podcast off, I don't know. I think I originally like tossed the idea to Ian, and at first I don't know if we really knew what we wanted to do, kind of how we wanted the show to go about, and I don't know. I think in the very beginning it was kind of like very news oriented and very, very politics oriented.
Topical.
It was topical stuff. I know it was right around the time of President Trump's inauguration, so there's a lot of stuff involving that, and and then over the course of time we like started veering off into different avenues. We got into music, and I think that's where if you don't know, if you haven't listened, like I said, if you haven't listened to the previous 138 episodes, Ian and I also do a YouTube channel, which is called The Vinyl Den. If you're into vinyl records or music in general, definitely check that out. But, so we, over the course of doing the podcast, we kind of got into a lot of musical episodes, and we kind of veered off into we end up like branching that into The Vinyl Den.
Mm-hmm.
Right, Ian?
Yeah.
I'm talking a lot. I'm trying to.
I'm with you.
Okay.
Just I don't have anything to add.
Okay.
Other than what you're already saying. So.
And then then over the course of time, we also kind of started getting into like a lot of like conspiracy theories. We've done not a whole lot, maybe a handful, maybe 6-7 episodes of Life in General where we talked about different conspiracy theories, and we did a couple of episodes where we even got into like unsolved murders and things, which that stuff really kind of, and I didn't.
It's fun.
It is fun, and I think when we started doing the show, I don't think I realized how much fun I had talking about that stuff.
Right.
And I think in the times that we live,
nobody wants to hear us talk about politics.
No, it's not even like politics. I think people don't want to listen to stuff about like politics, but also like COVID and pandemics and just shit that brings you down.
So we're going to talk about unsolved murders.
I think just
to lighten the mood a bit.
I think that I think people are interested by that kind of stuff.
Right.
Though.
No, yeah. There's a ton of true crime podcasts out there that people just go nuts over. Not that we're not crime, but we'll touch on like weird unsolved stuff.
Yes. And get into paranormal stuff, and because I am a believer that ghosts exist, and Ian is the complete opposite.
I'm not. I'm just a skeptic.
Gotcha.
I'm perpetually skeptical.
I'm skeptical also, but there's things that I've seen that I can't unsee, and I don't know. It's interesting.
Yeah. Well, I don't think I've ever seen anything that I can't unsee, but.
I guess I should. Did I say unsee?
Yeah.
I guess I don't know.
You can't explain.
I've seen UFOs, so that's another thing that we'll touch on things like that. We'll touch on unexplained stuff. So that's kind of where it's like. And so I don't know. When we were discussing creating this new show, or branching off and doing this new show, though I kind of went back to the same kind of thing that we went through in the original process, which was, well, what do I want the show to be, or what do we want the show to be?
Yeah.
I was trying to give you.
You know what? One thing will stay consistent. I'm going to bring as very little to the episodes that I possibly can.
Oh my God!
In an effort to maintain consistency.
So you're at least going to have to know about the conspiracy theories that we're going to talk about.
Yeah, but I mean that's a bare minimum. I mean that's what I'm good at.
That should be your That should be your name. My name is Nick. Ian is now bare minimum.
Bare minimum. I don't like it.
I'm your co-host. Bare minimum.
I don't like it.
What?
Nothing. I don't want to be called bear. Has leather gay connotations to it.
Does it?
Yeah, they're bears. That's what they call them. The big burly like leather bound gay guys. They're bears. They're burly. That's what they call them.
Obviously, you know a lot more about that than I
do. Well, I guess I know that. That is a fact I know.
Because I don't know. There's I've never heard of that before.
No, that's what they're called.
Oh, I've heard of beards before.
Yeah, that's what gay people have
to throw off the scent.
Yeah. No, bears are like the big burly gay bear guys. That generally in leather bars.
Huh. That's interesting. That's
probably not the topic that we're really going to be discussing, but I mean, for what it's worth, that's what they're called.
That's yeah. I don't know. It's so yeah. I think I don't know. I plan on talking a lot about conspiracy theories because I think that's something that's and that's when I brought this idea up to my wife. She was like, "Oh, how the hell are you going to talk about conspiracy theories? Are there really that many of them out there?"
Well,
and my response was yes. There are thousands of crazy ass conspiracy theories.
Well, and not only that, we can talk about old ones that have even been disproven and kind of gone away, like the Elvis is still alive bullshit.
Which people still believe that.
Yeah, there are people that still believe he's still alive today, and he'd be like 90. But the fact is, it's going to be conspiracy theories, but also paranormal. There's tons.
There's
and
others.
Tons of
yeah,
shit.
absolutely.
There's no reason we couldn't do another 138 episodes with this or more.
That's kind of what the goal is, Ian.
Well, yeah.
more.
I didn't realize it was 138 episodes, and I'm starting to wonder if maybe that was kind of not planned because they didn't plan to just do 138 episodes. But when we're starting to talk about changing things up, I'm wondering if you kind of timed it so that it would be 138.
Kind of,
because you say I can see you doing that, and for those of you who don't catch the reference,
it's a Misfits song.
It's a Misfits song that Nick is very fond of.
Yes,
we are 138.
It's a great old punk song.
Yeah,
and it also kind of coincided with the fact I don't know because originally we recorded the last show on my birthday also.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I was like, oh, that's because I was trying to figure out a good time to end the show because originally I was like, I don't know, do I want to carry it through to the end of the year? Do I want to stop it before then? What do we want to do? And I was like, well, it'd be perfect because we're going to do episode 138 on my birthday.
Yeah. I just didn't even know because I did not know how many episodes we had because we stopped numbering them. So
yeah, I stopped numbering them at 100.
Yeah, so I lost complete track of how many
So if you're keeping track out there, people, apparently Ian does not listen to our podcast because in the episode 138, which is entitled The Last Dance, we actually discussed that.
We did?
Yeah.
I was there. Why would it matter if I listened to it?
The fact that it was the 138th episode.
We didn't mention the Misfits reference though.
No, but I would assume you would get it.
I apparently didn't. I just got it now. So
wow, Ian.
You know what? Another thing I bring to the table. I'm kind of stupid. I'm a bit of an idiot.
If you guys don't know, Ian and I have known each other for a long time. I want to say since 1991. Was it 1991? No, it had been 1992.
No, we met in 91. We didn't really start hanging out until like 93. But we've known each other since 91. 93, 94.
Because I was in 7th grade.
Yes. We took the same bus that year because I was in...
Stop making noises.
Sorry. You were in 7th grade. I was in 8th grade. We were on the same bus. We knew each other. We kind of hung out a bit. But then the next year, I was in 9th grade, so I went to the high school. And
so it must have been like 91 into 92.
Yes.
Okay. The 91-92 school year.
Yes,
okay.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, because I didn't know anybody in Lincoln District until that day, you know, when I started in Lincoln.
So we've known each other for 29 years.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
To the day, I can actually tell you the day we kind of met. It was the first day of school. It was August 27th.
Yeah. So I've known that Ian's been a rotten bastard for 29 years.
And I'm only getting more and more rotten as I get older. So,
Which is funny. So Ian and I also work together. And Ian has like the wool pulled over everyone's eyes at work. Because everyone's like, oh my God.
Please. I am not.
Everyone at work is like, oh my God, Ian is so nice.
I am nice. I'm very nice.
Ian is a bastard.
I am not nice to you, but I treat everyone else very nicely.
Whatever.
I don't have to be nice to you.
There are other people you're not nice to.
Not really. Not like I am.
I can think of a big one.
Who?
Donald Trump.
Well, he's a piece of shit, so yeah.
All right, so politics-wise, we're going to try and keep politics out of the show. But I just thought I'd throw that out there because...
Yes. I when it comes to people who are pieces of shit and make it extremely obvious, yes, I'm not going to be nice to them. But anyone else, unless they give me a reason, I'm going to be nice, and I'm nice to everybody I know, except you.
So Ian has the wool pulled over everyone's eyes.
No, I'm that way with everybody. I'm a nice person,
and I'm not.
I know you're not. That's the funny thing is I am. I really am a nice person. But that's the difference, though. That's why I seem so nice. It's the contrast between the two of us.
Maybe that's what it is. Because I really am a nice person. I'm also somebody that I don't pull punches. I tell you what I see and I tell you what I think. I don't.
And I just listen to people. I don't judge. I don't say anything.
I don't judge. I absolutely don't judge.
What I'm saying is I just...
Oh, I judge racists and bigots. Oh, that's about it.
Of course. And you do that, as you should, do that openly.
Pretty much.
But when it comes to just normal interactions with people...
I guess I judge people that don't wear masks also.
Yeah.
Because if you don't know, Ian and I both work at a hospital. So we deal with all this stuff on a daily basis.
Right. So when we're out in public and we see people not wearing masks, it's...
Yeah. And not only do we work in a hospital, we work in the emergency department. Right. So we've dealt with a lot of crazy shit in the past 6 months.
Yes. And people outside of that scenario don't necessarily get it, I think.
Yeah.
And and I think you're probably a little bit more aggressive about it than I am.
Well, yeah, because I watched a 26-year-old have her baby cut out of her, and I don't know if either one of them lived because of coronavirus.
Yeah,
so
and I didn't see that, but I'm aware of that situation. However, it's bad no matter what. We see it all the time.
So as you were saying, I do judge people.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is that it's not that you're mean. It's just that you pick on people in a fun way.
I do.
And sometimes
people get a little sensitive about it.
Sometimes people do. I think the vast majority of our coworkers are either immune to it at this point or cool with it.
Oh, yeah, because, a lot of them give it right back to me, which is cool. That's fine.
It's just that's not something that I do.
Yeah.
I don't do that. Yeah. I do that with you, but that's about it.
Yeah. I don't know, because I have crossed the line before, obviously.
Yes.
And there is a fine line between doing what I do and
HR.
And being an asshole is what I was going to say.
Well, and HR.
And sometimes I do cross over into the asshole realm. Yeah. And there are sometimes I'll say something and be like, well, I guess I really shouldn't have said that. Right. But I don't know. It is what it is.
To be honest, I've crossed that line before, and I felt really bad about it.
Yeah.
Because, I didn't cross that line.
I feel real bad for a quick second. But...
I jumped 10 feet over that fucking line one specific time, and I felt really bad.
What'd you do?
It was a girl that I worked with at the video store.
Oh, so it wasn't even hospital related.
No, this was before, and I wasn't even working there at the time. It was after I was working there, but I was hanging out there, and
you say you tell her you were going to grab her by her
no,
grab her by the hoo-ha?
No, this wasn't crossing the line in a sexual way. This is crossing a line in a judgmental kind of way.
Oh, that's not good either.
But it started out as a joking kind of way, and it went from 0 to 70 in a split second. But she was. Yeah, she's a lot younger than me. She was talking about joining the sorority.
Uh-oh.
And I was kind of giving her the sorority, hard time about it.
Got to buy your friends and things like that.
They kind of, and she's like, but there's so many things that you can do and network. And I'm like, okay, I get it. And she's like, and we do a lot of charity work and we outreach. And I said, well, you can do that without a sorority. She goes, yeah, but I wouldn't do it if I wasn't in the sorority. And I just looked at her like, well, then you're a piece of garbage.
Oh, God, Ian.
and one of our...
How did she take that?
She kind of oblivious to it, but another one of our friends who's a lot more like you in terms of just kind of says what they think more.
Uh-huh.
Something I figured something more he would say. He looked at me, he's like, dude, that was harsh. I'm like, and as soon as he said that to me, I was like, oh shit. I fucking crossed the line.
Oops.
So yeah, I apologize. I was like, I'm sorry. They came out wrong.
Yeah.
I was just like, what's wrong with doing good for good sake rather than doing it because she was talking also about getting like extra credit for doing good things.
Because I think a lot of times people have the intentions of doing good, or they want to do good things, but a lot of times they need the peer pressure to push them along to do it. Which I think is probably where she was probably going, even though I don't know the situation.
Well, she was also pointing out that she gets credits for schooling for it too. Like it benefited her education to some degree. I don't know.
Yeah. Just
like she can put it on her resume and stuff. And it was just like, for some reason at that moment, it rubbed me wrong, and I was just like blurted. It's not like I haven't done that kind of stuff before. That was probably the worst. But I learned very early on that I need to establish a boundary for myself with people.
Yeah.
And I have to stick to it. I can't even come up to the line most of the time, because once I get to that line, it takes very little for me to just jump right over it. So that's how I treat people at work. The line is very far away from me. I keep it simple. I'm polite to everybody. I do my best to help them out because I know that most of the time they're going to do their best to help me out. That's why they think I'm nice.
I do the same thing. I just give them a little shit along the way.
Right.
And for the most part, I only like really say crazy shit to people that I know.
No, right.
The people I have a relationship with. I've worked there long enough with certain people that I for the most part, I know my audience. Have I said somewhat inappropriate things to people I have no idea who they are? Absolutely.
Because there's been times where I've been with you and you've said things and I'm like, dude, what are you doing?
Yeah. I basically called.
How are you still employed here?
I basically called a doctor that came down from one of the floors. I don't even know who he was. I basically called him stupid, and I was
just referring to this one time specifically. You made this really inappropriate sexual joke, which outside of a work setting was hilarious. But I was just like, and to be fair, we work with a lot of women.
Yeah, and young women.
Yeah, and I'm like, What? What are you doing?
What did I say?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago.
Okay.
But, it was well over a year ago. But
because I will say that if you're listening to this, and you're like, oh my god, he made an inappropriate sexual comment.
It wasn't like sexual harassment. It was just you can't talk like that.
In return, I have also received a lot of very questionable comments to people I work with. People saying that they want to like confiscate my clothing and things like that, and smell me as they walk by me, and like just weird things. Also, I also had a visitor one night ask if she could rub my head, which was also kind of weird. So I don't know. So,
as long as you didn't ask her which one, I guess you're fine.
Ooh, touche. Big head or little head? You get to decide which one is which. Ooh.
Yeah, that's an HR issue right there.
There's probably not a day that goes by at some point I'm like, oh my gosh, I should probably
not say that. Yeah,
not say that.
Yeah, see, I just don't say it. I just know better.
Whatever. Hey, I can't say is for the most part I'm a fun person to work with. I make
you do.
It's an enjoyable work environment normally when I'm there.
You do all right.
I do my best to make because we deal with some crazy shit, and sometimes I try to make a crazy situation into a lighthearted situation. Sometimes I succeed. Sometimes I
don't.
Sometimes people make complaints to leadership about me. So.
Right. That's the type of stuff I'm talking about.
Whatever. But
see, this just establishes that this show, as different as it's going to be,
it's still going to have
us. It's still going to have us going off on huge tangents for no fucking
reason.
Yeah, because
I have absolutely no clue how we got into that.
You just said I had to call you out because you said I pulled the wool over everyone's eyes.
Oh, that's right.
And that's what kind of got us going down there, because I did not pull the wool over their eyes. What they see is me. It's just a guarded me. That's all.
That's it. That's Ian's representative, as Chris Rock used to say. Because Chris Rock's whole bit was, when you first start dating somebody, you're not really dating that person. You're dating the representative. So when you see Ian at work, that's not really Ian. That's Ian's representative.
Yeah, but it's a good representation for the most part of what I am, because I'm not going to be that much different outside of work with those people.
Yeah.
Because they're just they're coworkers. There's no reason No one's going to work to have a bad fucking day.
No.
And I try to.
I don't know. Some of the people we work with go to work to have a bad fucking day.
There's always going to be a drama person here and there. But the thing is
well, because we work with like 8,000 people,
right?
So.
But the thing is most people, none of us really want to fucking be there.
I do. I enjoy being at work most days.
I don't think most people do. You're probably the outlier there.
Yeah.
I don't understand why anyone would want to enjoy being there.
I really do. I thoroughly enjoy doing what we do. No, okay. Not doing what we do because I think our job is boring, but I thoroughly enjoy working in the emergency department. Absolutely. Seeing the crazy. There's not a day that goes by, Ian, where at some point I don't think to myself, I couldn't make this shit up.
There's definitely, I would say not every day for me, but there's almost a lot of days where that happens.
I will say several times a week.
Right.
I'm like, I couldn't make this shit up. Like, if I told somebody this was going on, they would think I was completely fucking lying to them.
You must be seeing a lot more interesting stuff than I am, but because I wouldn't say that happens every day. Maybe once a week. I have at least one of those stories once a week.
Yeah,
I do miss a lot though. I always get shafted on the fun stuff.
I don't know. For some reason, I get to always see the.
Well, you're a nosy bastard. That's why
I am a nosy bastard.
I've literally seen this man get up from his station, which we're not supposed to do the vast majority of the time, because something interesting is going on in another part of the area.
Yeah,
and he just leaves his desk and just goes over.
Well,
I'm like, what are you doing?
I want to go see what's going on.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to. It's not your job.
That's all right. I'm in nursing school. I'm not a gawker. I'm there for a learning experience.
You're a fucking gawker, Nick. There was one time he did that. We were at a station together. We're both working the same station. So theoretically, him getting up didn't really hurt anything because I was still there.
Yeah.
And he came back and he was pissed because he couldn't see anything because the doctors were in his fucking way.
Yeah.
You're a fucking gawker, man.
Whatever. But I use it as an learning experience.
You use the learning experience as an excuse.
I will say that I am in awe of the nurses and doctors when we have traumas and stuff come in. It's absolutely fascinating to me to watch them work and the things that they do
because of the procedures that
yes, absolutely, and that is probably the number one reason that I decided to go back to nursing. That I decided to go to nursing school because of the things I see. So I'm not a gawker.
No, I know. I'm just giving you a hard time.
When I'm watching someone get their chest cracked open, okay, I'm slightly a gawker, but.
Never seen that.
See, I have on several occasions.
The bloodiest thing I saw was when the guy chopped his kneecap off with a chainsaw.
That's interesting.
It was bloody. It was nice, but that's the bloodiest thing I've seen in person.
There was one day a guy came in that he was out. Him and his wife were out on their boat.
And we're not.
Oh my God! This has nothing to do.
I know we're not breaking any HIPAA laws.
We're not breaking. No, we're not. We are.
I'm pretty sure we're not.
If you don't know me, and my background is actually law, so I actually do understand HIPAA and all that stuff. We are not violating HIPAA at all. Yeah. But anyway, this guy comes in, and he was out on his boat, and his propeller got wrapped around something in the water. So he decided to get down in the water to break it loose.
I think I know where this is going.
Didn't turn the motor off. So when it broke free and like chewed through his arm. Yeah. So that was kind of interesting to see that come in.
Yeah.
But I'm not gonna. I could do a whole podcast on
right.
crazy shit I see in the emergency department.
I think that would be a bit dangerous to cross because you could potentially cross some lines.
Yeah,
there.
absolutely.
But I did see not in I did kind of in person, but I didn't get a chance to like see it. But I did see the photographs after the fact of a firecracker versus hand.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I've seen that actually a couple times.
I've seen bones sticking out of people's fingers and things like that.
From a anatomical perspective, it was quite fascinating to see what a hand looks like when the middle part is missing.
Well, with the whole middle.
When all that's left is the pinky and the thumb and nothing in the middle.
I will say that working in the emergency department makes me almost wish that I could go back in time and go to medical school.
Oh, you still could if you really wanted to.
I am 41 years old. I could not go to medical school.
No, you could. People do it.
Because first off, I wouldn't be able to work, so my wife would absolutely murder me.
Yeah.
And plus,
you'd have to stop buying records.
I would have to absolutely stop buying records, and that's not going to happen anytime soon.
But just think of all the records you could buy
if I was a doctor.
If you became a doctor.
I know. That'd be nice.
That would be nice.
I don't know, but anyway, I'm really fascinated by all that stuff. But anyway,
and it has nothing to do with the show.
We actually have somewhat of a topic today,
just a little bit, because we figured we'd do an introductory show. And then
kind of introduce you to who we are, and I'm sure that a lot of you out there have listened to the Life in General podcast before, and I will.
And many of you, if you
will plug it one more time and say if you haven't, go back and listen. But
if you have listened and you're listening to this, great. But chances are you probably turned off each episode at about the same time. Whenever we start veering off a topic.
Yeah. But I will say that, like, originally, my original idea for the show was actually going to be called Crazy Conspiracies. And
I didn't like it.
Mandy and Ian, Mandy's my wife, if you don't know, but neither one of them liked it. And then probably my first idea for the show was Nick and Ian are lizard people.
I really didn't like that one.
I thought it was hilarious because it's like
tongue in cheek. I mean,
the lizard people. It's one of my favorite conspiracy theories. The fact that everything is run by lizard people, which I think is, like I said, it's hilarious. But so that was kind of my first one. Then I went to Crazy Conspiracies, and that was kind of because I wanted people to like see the title of the show and understand what it's about. Because that was maybe one of the harder things with Life in General, even though it kind of says it in the title, that people didn't really know what the show was about, because we didn't really know what the show was about.
That was kind of the point. You kind of keep it open-ended, but maybe it was too open-ended.
Maybe too much. So that's why I was like, Crazy Conspiracies, because we're going to be talking about the crazy shit we find on the internet. And then, so Ian didn't like that, me didn't like that, even though I did, but whatever. I got outvoted. And so I was like scrolling through like other, because there's not a lot of conspiracy theory podcasts out there, which
there's a handful. But
there is a handful, but a lot of the ones I've listened to just aren't good.
Right.
And
here's another one that won't be.
Oh, bullshit. But anyway, so I was kind of going through and I was trying to think of a different name, come up with something else we'd call the show. And I was like scrolling through, and there was another. I don't even think it was a conspiracy podcast. I think it was just scrolling through, and I saw another podcast, and the tagline underneath it was Reality Redefined, and I was like, oh, that's a great name. And I like made sure that there wasn't another podcast named that, and I like looked it up on Apple Podcast and looked up through the Google machine and didn't come up with anything. So I was like, sweet. And Ian liked the name.
Well, he texted it to me, and my response was, "It's better than conspiracies or
crazy conspiracies.
It's better than no." So I guess because the thing was that I was going to go brainstorm some ideas for titles, and Nick was going to brainstorm some ideas for titles. And what ended up happening was Nick brainstormed some ideas for titles, and I did not. So I figured there's no reason for me to be judgmental if I'm not willing to put in the effort. And as for what it's worth, Reality Redefined is actually pretty good. So
that's it. That's all you had to say about that, Ian.
I thought I was being humble enough.
Ian can see that I'm texting, and he like can't carry a show for 30 seconds.
I don't even know why the fuck I'm here in the first place.
Whatever.
We were just talking about our Vinyl Den shows, and I'm like, I've done like 6 of them, and there's like 37 of them out there. Which Nick establishes that I was on more than that.
Then I had to point out the fact that he's actually been on more than half of the shows.
But I feel like I don't. I feel like I'm only on like a handful, but you know.
So we do, I have kind of set up some background stuff for the show. We do have an email address. You are able to email us, now that we're 30 minutes into the episode, you are able to email us at realityredefinedpod@gmail.com. And it really took me a really hard time to come up with an email address because Reality Redefined was taken. I don't know what for, but
probably some kid in his basement.
Probably.
Well, 20 years ago, some kid in his basement.
It's Q. Q probably has that email address.
QAnon?
Yeah.
Oh.
Q is the person.
What's the Anon part? Then?
I don't know.
Well, his last name?
That's another conspiracy that we'll get to eventually.
QAnon.
We do have
name's Anon. QAnon.
We do have a page on Facebook, Reality Redefined. Mm-hmm. So that's easy to find us. Ian, any guess on what our Twitter handle is?
Well, you never told it to me, so I'm not even going to feel guilty about not knowing.
So just guess.
Is it Reality Redefined at Twitter?
Oops, I don't know. Just dropped my phone.
I don't even know how Twitter's tagged.
It's at. Yeah, it starts with an at.
Reality Redefined.
Well, that was taken, so I couldn't do that.
Oh, is it at Redefined reality?
No, because that'd be stupid. How about this? We on Twitter. We are at We the Lizard People, but people is PPL. We the Lizard People on Twitter.
Oh, so you still got it in there.
I still
you
got
it in there, you sneaky bastard.
You sneaky bastard. Because I'm telling you, there's millions of different Twitter
I just don't understand why you want to give our cover away, Nick.
That are all taken, and I couldn't find anything conspiracy-wise that hasn't already been taken on Twitter. So that was the only thing I could come up with. And there is one that's We the Lizard People with people all spelled out, but whenever I text anything, people is always PPL. So We the Lizard PPL. People. On Twitter.
Okay.
Yes.
I guarantee you I will never remember that.
I know you won't.
Actually, that one I might remember. I might remember that one.
We did Life in General for 3.5 years, and and we had the same Twitter handle for almost the entire show, and Ian had no idea what the Twitter handle was.
Still no clue.
It was at LIG Pod. It was really easy to remember.
I'll forget it in 10 minutes.
This is at We the Lizard People.
I'll probably remember that one a little bit better because
Because it's strange.
It's strange. It's unique. Yeah,
it's unique. So, Ian, what are some of your favorite? I mentioned one of my favorite.
Which one was that? Those Lizard People.
Yeah, the lizard. That's one of my favorite conspiracy theories. What are some of yours? Because since the show is going to be a lot of different conspiracy theories intermingled with other things,
right? Well, I mean, obviously, there's the biggies, the flat Earth specifically. There's a YouTube channel that I like, Simon Dan. His whole thing is just basically taking flat earther videos and debunking them. Mm-hmm. So I watch that a lot. So that's probably one of my top ones is the flat Earth because it's just so obviously wrong. It's like of all the conspiracy theories that you can have, why pick one like that is so easily proven wrong? But
because I would say that a lot of people it hasn't been proven wrong to a lot of people.
Then they haven't been in a fucking airplane.
So I know that. But we will have a whole episode about flat earthers because it's a topic we covered several different times on Life in General. But that kind of segues to one of my favorite ones, probably my favorite.
Real quick, I just want to point out that it's also a conspiracy theory that I don't understand what the benefit of the conspiracy is.
There's a lot of those though.
Yeah, I know, but at least like some of them you can understand, like the lizard people thing. Keeping themselves hidden so we don't know that they're running everything makes sense. Okay. So they can continue to run things.
So that kind of segues to my favorite, probably my number one favorite conspiracy theory.
Hollow Earth?
Is the Hollow Earth.
Yeah. And I mean, well,
what's the benefit of that?
I can understand that because first of all, it would say,
You can understand that?
No,
the Earth is hollow and there's a second sun inside the Earth?
Yes.
Where the Garden of Eden and Nazis live?
Nick, where have you been? Of course. And that makes perfect sense. My point is that there's an element of if people knew about that, then we would still know. We know that the Nazis were still around and blah, blah, blah. But the flat Earth, I don't understand what the benefit of the continuous perpetuation of telling people and teaching people that the Earth is a globe. I don't understand what that accomplishes.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't accomplish anything. I guess and that really does apply to the Hollow Earth thing too, really. But I don't know. But like the 9/11 conspiracy, at least you can say, well, if it were true, this is why.
Yeah.
You can't really do that with the flat Earth. It just doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Yeah. So some of the other ones that I really enjoy talking about, obviously, like I said, flat Earthers. I love JFK conspiracies.
Yeah. Well, that's one that's kind of fun, but also at a point where our own government acknowledges that there was a conspiracy there.
Yeah.
What the conspiracy was, we'll never know, but our own government has accepted the fact that it's not how it appeared to be.
Yeah.
So.
Chemtrails is another one of my favorites. It's a big one.
That's another one that has I can see the end result of that. The chemtrails are to make us stupid or to make us infertile or whatever. There's a point. There's an end game for it.
Yeah.
Even though it's not true, there's an end game in the thinking for it.
Another one that I didn't know about until I think earlier this year. I came across. I think somebody actually at work started telling me about it. Is the conspiracy theories around the Denver airport about there's all this like aliens that live under the airport, and there's all this other crazy stuff that goes on down there.
There's something to do with the way the airport's designed too. Which
yeah. There's a bunch of Masonic and alleged satanic symbols all over the place. Yeah. So there's that's another great one. Obviously the Freemasons, the New World Order.
Here's one that's kind of new too: is the Wayfair shipping children.
Actually, you know what? That's gonna be one of our.
It is
one of our upcoming episodes.
It is, and the reason I brought it up only is because it is kind of a favorite of mine in the sense that it's created some very funny memes.
Yes, it has.
Where it's just a picture of like some adult doing really stupid things with a little child there, and they're like, "Me and my Wayfair child,
yes.
Learn how to cut cocaine," something like that. It's just funny shit like that.
So yeah, there's like I don't know. There's a bunch of them out there. Some other ones that you can think of.
Well, obviously the 9/11 one's a huge one.
Yeah, that's not. I'm not. We did a whole episode on 9/11,
and we might touch on it again because, here and there. But it's. I like that one because it's.
Ian feeds into it a lot more than I do.
Well, I don't feed into it. I
believe a little bit more of it.
No, it's not that I believe it. It's just that I can see where the inconsistencies in the story have led to the.
A lot of conspiracies are like that, though.
Right.
I can see conspiracy. That's a great thing about conspiracy theories is they take like a kernel of truth,
right,
which is and it's believable, and then they build and construct and connect pieces that I don't necessarily think go together sometimes. But
where's the kernel of truth in the flat Earth and the hollow Earth, though?
That there's an Earth.
That's it. That's the kernel of truth.
Yes.
We stand on the planet, therefore it must be this. Okay.
But there's like Sandy Hook conspiracies out there.
Right.
Obviously, there's a bunch of different conspiracies about the Clintons, about the Pizzagate.
And I'd say only half of them are untrue.
The Jeffrey Epstein was killed by them and things like that.
Well, the Jeffrey Epstein one, that's a conspiracy theory that I can see there's some truth in it, but I don't know how much of it being Clinton so much as maybe a sitting president.
Yeah,
but
there's deep. Speaking of the current president, deep state stuff. There's obviously a bunch of that. The president and his ties to Russia and Ukraine and things like that.
Are those really conspiracy theories?
It is a conspiracy theory because it's just a theory. Nothing's been proven.
Yeah, that's true.
Off the top of my head, we did a whole episode on Life in General about presidential conspiracies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's like the fact that Richard Nixon made a side deal or backdoor deal with South Vietnam that robbed the Democrats of winning the election in '68. Ronald Reagan making a similar deal with Iran.
Are those really? I thought those had been pretty much proven though.
No, I mean they have, but they have not.
Yeah, okay.
I would say the Reagan stuff has been more proven,
right,
just because the incoming Iranian president in 1980 did a whole op-ed a couple years back where he like laid it all out and explained how he was approached by the Reagan campaign and things like that to make the deal for the hostages. So the whole October surprise conspiracy theory is another huge one.
Mm-hmm. Moon landing. I don't know if we mentioned that.
No, that's a good one. That got a man punched in the face
by Buzz Aldrin.
Yeah.
Buzz Aldrin's the cool cat, man.
Yeah,
I'll never forget when he was. I don't know if he was being honored, but Donald Trump was at this NASA thing, and it may have been for the 50th anniversary of the moon landing.
Yeah.
But Buzz Aldrin is standing in the background, and the camera's not really on him. But Donald Trump is talking, and he's saying the stupid shit he always says.
He has this disgusted look on his
face. And Buzz
face.
Aldrin, aside, yes, because he keeps like, every time Trump says something stupid, he can't hide it on his face. And it's brilliant. It's fantastic.
Then a lot of there's a lot of COVID conspiracies out there that and vaccine,
anti-vaxxers. Yeah, we've got a long run ahead of us on this show, I think.
Global warming conspiracies.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that the conspiracy that the Earth is actually encased in a like a glass dome. Mm-hmm. That's also a good one.
Or is it an ice dome? Because I know.
Well, no, the ice wall.
The ice wall is the
flat earthers.
Okay, yeah.
So the dome is actually something different. Actually, I believe the dome is actually in conjunction with the flat Earth.
Right. I've only ever heard the dome with the flat Earth.
So.
And that the sun and the moon aren't nearly as far away as we think they are.
Another one that I really love.
Because the moon's like 500 miles away is one of the theories.
Another one that I really love. I just came across it not too long ago. Was how the moon is actually an alien satellite that the aliens put in orbit like 2 million years ago. And that's why that's why we can never see the backside, the dark side of the moon, because it's not. If we could, we would find out that it was all just fake.
Except that we actually do have photographs of the dark side of the moon.
God, you're fucking ruining it.
I'm sorry, rationality is flooding in. It can't happen.
But yeah, there's also a bunch of like sports conspiracies and stuff like that out there too.
You know what I wonder? I wonder if conspiracy theories just sit around and watch old sci-fi, and that's where they get their ideas from.
Maybe.
And vice versa, I'm sure. But it's not that old. It's like maybe 7 years old. But there's an episode of Doctor Who where the moon isn't actually a moon. It's an egg for a spacefaring creature, and it hatches, and it lays another egg when it leaves, and every like million years or something like that.
Is that why we have a new moon?
No, because it's like it only hatches like every million years. So like. It'll hatch, lay another moon egg, and then go away. So the moon's always there. It's a different egg every million years.
That's interesting.
The episode is better than it sounds, but it's not one of the best Doctor Who episodes ever.
Gotcha.
So it's called Kill the Moon because the moon's like attack. It's an alright episode. It's not one of my favorites,
but there's definitely a ton of like really great conspiracies out there. And like I said, that's not getting into some of the other stuff we're going to talk about. You know, like I said, unexplained murders and mysteries and unsolved mysteries we've done before, and just a lot of fun stuff. I'm looking to talk about something
unusual
fun
stuff.
And interesting and unusual.
And honestly, this is probably more in tune with what I would have initially wanted to do before we started doing the show.
Now you say that. 3.5 years later.
Well, I never thought you would be interested in doing something, so I never brought it up. And it was not something that I was like driven by, but it's an old show. It's still on AM radio, but it's got different hosts and the format's changed. But back in the 80s and in the 90s, there was a radio guy called Art Bell.
Uh-huh. And
every night from 1 a.m. to 4:30 a.m., or is it 5:30 a.m.? I don't know. It ran for several hours. Was AM Coast to Coast AM, and it was his show. And this is what he talked about. He'd get like conspiracy theory people on. They talk about alien abductions and ghosts and exorcisms and all kinds of weird shit. And this show was on for decades. And I would listen to it a lot. I even got my dad into it, and he would listen to it all the time. But I kind of wanted to do something more in tune with that.
Yeah.
But I never really understood how to do it. Because I wanted to almost kind of copy that format. There's no way we could do a 3-hour show, or 4-hour show.
No, absolutely not.
Because no one would want to listen to us for that.
I wouldn't want to do it though. I don't want to talk. Right. I don't want to talk for that long.
But my point is that it was something more in tune with that, and I think this is probably more along those lines. Which is why when you kind of brought it up, I didn't want to get like, woo, yeah, let's do that. But I was like, yeah. That's more kind of what I was thinking about anyway.
Okay.
So
that's what it is,
so
guys.
It took us almost 4 years to get to where that might be. Okay.
That's all I got. I figure we just kind of throw out some ideas and talk about some of the stuff that we're going to cover on this show. And
absolutely.
So definitely come back next week.
Yes.
And check out a new episode of Reality Redefined.
Indeed.
Well, anything else there, Ian?
No.
God, people. But anyway, you can follow us if you haven't done so. Make sure you follow the page on Facebook and on Twitter and all the other stuff.
Yes,
the podcast is going to be just about everywhere. It's going to be all the same places we had. Life
if
in
you
General,
were listening to Life in General, you're going to be listening to this one.
That's exactly it.
So all three of you out there, you know who you are.
Well, I'm hoping that some people just didn't listen to the last episode of Life in General and they're like, unsubscribe.
Right.
Even though we told them not to, damn it.
Yes. No one listens to us, damn it. Literally and figuratively.
All right, well, that's all I got, Ian.
Yep. Talk to y'all later.
Peace.
Sorry, I jumped the gun.
Yeah. Peace.
Damn, my role, let me tell you about it. This shit right here, man, I'm about it. Only real niggas reside around me. Yo, old lady, drop a guard around me. Dip like I know you can, bitch. Show me the ropes like we in the ring. Got you took over if you wanna hang. Shoulder to shoulder, the niggas basic. You know I won't lie. You know that I ain't for that fuck shit. You niggas alright, but I'm way better and she love it. Know that y'all sick as fuck. Here go this tissue, bro. We taking the dub. Hoping you get you some. This hit like a pick me up. She taking my drugs. Know they see the sign. That's some dollar signs. Know they sick as fuck. Know they sick as fuck. Tell them get well soon. Tell them get well soon. Know you sick as fuck. Get well soon.